Good afternoon, everyone. So we are here. We're here at the Startup Corner today. Thank you very much for attending, and this is our first of its kind at London Tamil Market. So this is the first time we have this Startup Corner. We have created a dedicated space for startup businesses, entrepreneurs to find their business partners, investors, and exhibit their, the launch here. So I'd like to call upon two individuals here. They are co-founders of Gate Institute, Sendan Selvaraja and Jayaraj Kulasagaram, please to the stage. Jayaraj and Sendan Selvaraja, please. So both of them and the team worked tirelessly to put this startup corner together. And so not only in the UK, but in homeland as well, they're doing an amazing job to create entrepreneurs, to give them back. So I just want a couple of what Gate is and what they are doing.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah. The Gate Institute, founded in 2022, is a research organization focusing on the social economic issues in primarily in Sri Lanka. We have registered our organization in Sri Lanka and also in the UK. We are doing a lot of programs, and then this is not the time to explain all the activities of the Gate Institute. And I'll be talking to individuals later on and then tomorrow. Thank you very much. Can I please also call our director Chandra Kumar and also the co-founder Mr. Mangaleshwaran. And Mangaleshwaran, please come. Yeah.
Hello everyone. Actually this startup we started in Sri Lanka to encourage all the entrepreneurs in north and east and upcountry. Nearly 2 years before. So already there are some projects going on, and also you are working with the major universities, Banqueting University and Jaffna University and Mount University. So the first time we are actually introducing here as a startup who are born here, the first generation, to give them a support and the mentors, and also we are going to introduce some investors as well to get their first steps. Thank you.
Thank you very much. அனைவருக்கும் மீண்டும் வணக்கம். தொழில் முனைவோருக்கான இந்த நிகழ்வை நாங்கள் இங்கே நடத்தி கொண்டிருக்கின்றோம். லண்டன் தமிழ் மார்க்கெட்டில் இதுதான் முதல் முறையாக தொழில் முனைவோருக்கான இந்த செயற்பாட்டை நடத்தி கொண்டிருப்பதில் முக்கியமாக பிரித்தானிய தமிழர் வர்த்தக சம்மேளனமும் இணைந்து, அதாவது கேட் இன்ஸ்டிடியூட் என்கின்ற அமைப்புடன் இணைந்து செய்கின்றது. கேட் இன்ஸ்டிடியூட்டுடைய இணை ஒருங்கமைப்பாளர்கள் அல்லது ஃபவுண்டர்ஸாக இருக்கின்ற திரு மங்களேஸ்வரன் அவர்கள், ஜெயராஜ் மற்றும் சேந்தன் செல்வராஜா இங்கே இருக்கின்றார்கள். அவர்களுக்கு எங்கள் நன்றிகள். டைரக்டராக இருக்கின்ற சந்திரகுமார் அவர்களுக்கும் எங்கள் நன்றிகள். ஆம், இப்போது நாங்கள் நிகழ்ச்சிக்குள் செல்வோம். நிகழ்ச்சிக்குள் இன்று மிக முக்கியமான ஒரு தலைப்பில் பேசுவதற்காக ஆனந்த் அவர்கள், பிபிகே பார்ட்னர்ஷிப், அவர் ஆரம்ப காலத்திலிருந்தே தொடர்ந்து லண்டன் தமிழ் மார்க்கெட்டிலும் பிரித்தானிய தமிழர் வர்த்தக சம்மேளனத்திலும் இணைந்து எங்களுடன் பயணித்து கொண்டிருப்பவர். அவர் உங்களுக்கான மிக முக்கியமான ஒரு காலகட்டத்திலே நாங்கள் இருந்து கொண்டிருக்கின்றோம். பொருளாதாரம் சார்ந்தும் வணிகம் சார்ந்தும் நான் நிற்கின்றேன். உலகம் ஒரு முக்கியமான ஒரு மாற்றத்தை கண்டு கொண்டிருக்கிறது. அந்த நேரத்தில் தொழில் முனைவோர்களுக்காகவும் இங்கே வந்திருப்பவர்களுக்கும் அவர் சில உரையாடல்களை உங்களுக்கு வழங்க இருக்கின்றார். ஆங்கிலத்திலும் தமிழிலும் கலந்து செய்வார்.
அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். Good afternoon everyone. Good to see this event here at Crystal, a prestigious place. Compared to our humble beginnings, it's amazing to see in such a fantastic location. Well done all of you to organize it here. So many familiar faces are here. Rajkumar, you done really well, and Nishan, and everyone involved. Mangalesh, where are you? Yes. So today it is great to see this startup hub. Startup hub mainly has been selected to be here those who are age under 25 and lower. Is that right? 25 years or low. And also the business ought to have been 3 years or lower. And anybody with a fresh business idea which is not been replicated is where we are. And I've been asked to say a few words about how to do a successful startup and the way to go about how to structure the business. In UK, the compliance is either sole trade or a partnership or a limited company. After that, the main purpose is raising capital. Raising capital on a limited company basis is easier than a sole proprietorship or a partnership, because on a company you can issue shares to shareholders and the shareholders can trust that there is a share certificate and they are investing in a startup business that is properly structured in the UK corporate structure. The way to raise finance is either through friends and family round, or you could raise from seed investment, seed enterprise investment scheme. What does a seed investment scheme means is that anybody who is investing in your company can get 50% tax rebate on the money that they invest immediately. அதாவது 50% வரி விலக்கு அல்லாட்டி வரி சலுகை அல்லாட்டி ஒரு ரீஃபண்டாக பெற்றுக்கொள்ளலாம் சீட் இஐஎஸ் இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட் மூலமாக இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணுறார்கள். அப்போ என்ன செய்யணும்னு சொன்னால் அந்த கம்பெனியை செட்டப் பண்ணி பிஸ்னஸ் பிளானை செய்து அந்த பிஸ்னஸ் பிளானை ஹெச்எம்ஆர்சிக்கு வழங்கி அட்வான்ஸ் அஷ்யூரன்ஸ் யூ மஸ்ட் அப்டெயின் அண்ட் மேக் அன் இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட் த்ரூ seed EIS, and that will get you a 50% refund, and then when you sell your business one day, all your capital gains are tax free. You don't have to pay any tax on your gains. So my advice for all the people here as a startup hub, there are so many businesses here, it's amazing to see you all. Please set your company up in UK and please try to get accreditation with CDIS. So the key takeaway is set up your company, get HMRC advance assurance, apply for CDIS, and once you completed the CDIS round, you take a EIS round, which is Enterprise Investment Scheme. Try to get your income through that. As well as, I see a lot of young people here in new startups. You may wish to give your employees employee options, growth shares, share options to incentivize them to participate. So sometimes you don't have to pay them a lot of salary. Instead, you can give them share options to make them invest their time and talent with your business. That will give your employees encouragement, get their loyalty, and be tax efficient in growing the business and their participation. It also helps the startup company from saving cash flow, PAYE, NIC, employees NIC, so that the share options will save you these costs, as well as get everybody to be participating with your journey. We are here to help you, not only us. I see a lot of financial advisors here today exhibiting. There are accountants who are exhibiting. There are banks. Amazingly, we have the support of HSBC here today. Thank you so much. They are brilliant in supporting startups, and good to see Deepa here from HSBC, and go and see them at the HSBC stall, or any of the accountants who are here who can help you with the structuring. It's starting and getting your structure right will help you to grow your business. I wish all the participants here at the British Tamil Chamber of Commerce, London Tamil Market, a great success, and I congratulate the organizers for upgrading the event to an amazingly prestigious one this year. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Arnold? Arnold? We're going to ask some questions if anyone has any questions. So that's the kind of the very important part. Anyone have any questions, please? Anyone? You can come forward. Yeah, come forward. You can ask here. Yeah.
Thank you. I was wondering if you could go into more detail about the difference between, I believe I heard you say the SEIS and the EIS. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Could you please go into more detail about the difference between the two and when you would use them?
Yeah. So always we encourage people to go with the seed enterprise investment scheme, which is known as SEIS, where the investors are early day investors, so the tax refund is more generous. They get 50% of the money they invest as a refund immediately, or deduction from the tax that they have to pay. Plus, if they hold the shares for 2 years or more and then they exit, all their capital gains are tax free. So it's an amazing way to raise capital, invest, and grow. That is up to the first round of investment. And then thereafter, when the company is mature, you go for the second round, where you get enterprise investment scheme, EIS, where they get 30% tax deduction or a 30% tax refund. The rest of the capital gains concession is exactly the same. You get 0 capital gains if you hold the shares for 2 years or more. One caveat is that owners cannot invest on their own company. That is a problem. So how you do it is that the owners will start the business, and you get your friends and family to invest in your company. And nobody can own more than 30% of the company. But what you do is that you get a friend to set up your company and get it going, and then you invest and you can become a director later on. Meaning, first director, the first investor will not get this tax concession, but the second and third round is where you do it. So you structure it properly. Thank you.
With the new tax implications, how can BBK kind of help move this forward with their new software, etc.?
Okay, that's another interesting question in that the new situation in UK is a thing called Make Tax Digital. Maybe that's what you're referring to. If that is it, there are so many softwares that you could use to comply with the requirement. We are encouraging people to go with either QuickBooks or Xero or Zoho or TaxCalc, Hammock, and so on and so forth. You got to think that property owners are going to be hit with this situation where you have to comply with the HMRC requirements, even more so from April 2026. It's only 2 months away. And you have to file your Make Tax Digital returns every quarter. So we used to file once a year. In future, property landlords and smaller businesses who are sole trade, or even larger businesses, anything more than 50,000 turnover, you have to file 4 quarterly returns and annual return. So 5 tax returns. The compliance is more draconian. Therefore, all the startups, please don't fall foul of it and end up paying penalties. It's a waste of money giving government penalties and interest. So do comply with either of the software. Again, there are so many accountants who are exhibiting here today. Please reach any one of them and get their advice.
Thank you. In the meantime, before I take the next question, there's another announcement for LJ74XSD. They're going to remove this car. If you're here, just please go up to the front or see the securities. LJ74XSD. So any other questions, please? Anyone? Actually, I want to ask a question. So you mentioned about properties. Is there is a threshold, because the understanding is that it faces that where the 100% tax at source is going to come in. Is there any difference between that and this making digital?
So the situation is that making tax digital is for anyone who's got a property portfolio and you're going to have an income of 50,000 pounds or more. And the tax is the same, whichever way you structure yourself. But we are saying for property owners, if you want to hold properties for a very long time, set it into a limited company. And then you don't have to make tax digital, and you will still pay tax only at your corporate marginal rate, maybe 19 to 25%. But remember, your profit will stay in the company. The minute you take it from the company to your pocket, you have to pay dividend tax. So you don't rush into things. Always seek advice from a professional. One situation that is good for me may not be the situation good for you. So you must take a family focused or your business focused individual decisions.
Thank you. Anyone else want to ask any questions? Thanks. Come on.
Hello. Regarding the tax break for the seed investment, is there any time limit if you set it up, and is there any time limit for that?
ஒரு நல்ல கேள்வி. இந்த சீட் இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட் இல்லாட்டி எஸ்சிஐஎஸ் இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட் இஐஎஸ் இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட்டை எடுக்கிறதுக்கு உங்களோட கம்பெனி ஆரம்பித்து 2 வருஷத்துக்குள்ளே அட்வான்ஸ் அஷூரன்ஸ் எடுங்க. கன நேரம் தாமதிக்க விடாதீங்க. ஆனால் ஒரு கம்பெனியை செட் பண்ணி உங்களோட பிஸ்னஸ் ஆரம்பிக்காமல் இருந்து பிறகு ஆரம்பித்தாலும் அதுக்கு அப்ளை பண்ணலாம். உங்களோட ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஆக்சுவல் இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட் பிஸ்னஸ் ஆரம்பித்து 2 வருஷத்துக்குள்ளே அப்ளை பண்ணினா உங்களுக்கு கிடைக்கிறதுக்கு கூடிய நிச்சயமாக இருக்கிறது. That's a good question. You must apply for your SCIS, EIS within 2 years of setting up your company to make sure that you get the advance assurance from HMRC clearance. Don't delay. Don't apply 7 years later, 10 years later. There are some time limits. 2 years and 7 years is particularly are 2 timelines that you have to bear in mind.
Any other questions? So in the meantime, I would like to ask a couple of questions. One is, especially for startups, it's not easy to present themselves to get bank loans or grants. And what would be the basic advice you will give? Because they are normally, as a founders, they are very busy setting up their business, core structure of the business, because they are inventing a product, right? But then when it comes to banks or institutions or VCs, they want to see documentation, paperwork. So how you will advise them to go about it?
That's a really good question, Raj. You have to be prepared to spend some time and effort and maybe money to do a good presentation of your business case. You have the business plan, a cash flow forecast, a projected profit and loss account, balance sheet, a CV of your key people who are going to be fronting the business. Don't be scared to present a business case where there is not major profit in year 1 or 2. Banks understand, investors understand that you have to spend time to grow a business. So as long as there is a long-term vision to make profits and make cash flow, and then you value it back by discounted cash flow of future revenue or your EBITDA or your track record that you have had in your 1 or 2 or 3 months or first year or 2 years, in order to present to the bank to apply for a bank loan, or even to investors, or for crowdfunders, or for seed investors, or even through the internet in crowdfunding. So many ways to get your initial investment, or angel investments, venture capital, VC, so many ways to raise your money.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot for giving us the valuable advice. And also, he can be reached all the time, a BBK partnership stall around there for only for today. Thank you very much. Right, so we have our next speaker, well known to us all, been with us throughout the journey, and our former chairman at British Tamil Chamber of Commerce, and the current director, Thiruvasaham. Can I call you forward? Thank you very much. You want to go through your speech?
Hello, everyone. It's good to participate in the startup hub, which is the first time for London Tamil market. I can see a lot of young business entrepreneurs participating here today. The main area I want to touch upon today is when you're starting a business, the first thing that comes to my mind is the accounting side of it. You've got to be really up to the mark on that. Make sure that you employ a very good accountant right from the start, because the rules by the HMRC, Companies House, and other regulatory institutions are very tough, actually very challenging for small businesses or new businesses. You need to maintain your books and records very clearly and efficiently. Nowadays, compared to say about 10-20 years ago, there are a lot of softwares available, making it easy for small businesses and the startup businesses to comply with these requirements. And you must make use of it right from the start. Instead of ignoring it, if you leave it for about 6 months, it becomes a big onerous task. So therefore, start right from the start. Get a good accountant to advise you a suitable software or a method of accounting. You can even do accounts without actually buying a new software. There are some free softwares as well available. But if you have a computer, normally you will have the Microsoft suite, where you have got Excel and other good softwares that you can use to actually record your information. And nowadays the banks are very good, because you can actually download your bank statement in Excel format, and or even in PDF format if you like. And the banks, most of the bank transactions are nowadays in electronic format, and it shows who you are paying money to, and even receiving money as well. It's easy to identify where the money is coming from. So the bank recording and record keeping is much easier using the bank electronic format records, for example. And it's easy to update them and maintain them. This will actually comply with all the requirements by most of the authorities. So the softwares like Xero, QuickBooks, TaxCalc, and there are many other softwares available in the market. They're not that costly. When you compare what you need to comply with, the requirements are very onerous, and these softwares are very helpful for you to update your accounts and keep it up to date. So that's as far as the accounting. And also, when you're starting a business, make sure that you're monitoring it, where you are not exceeding £90,000 for VAT limit, and also for example, like Arnold mentioned about the Making Tax Digital, now is starting from 1st of April, where if your income from self-employment as well as rental income is over £50,000, you need to make quarterly return. This is the first time that's being implemented. That's up to 50,000 in the next year. The following year is going down to 30,000, and the following year is going down to 20,000. So the requirements are becoming harder and harder for taxpayers. So therefore, it's important that you need to follow the rules and make sure that you comply with them. And apart from VAT, PAY is another challenging. If you're employing somebody, make sure that you register for payroll and maintain your payroll records very carefully. Again, there are softwares available, or you can employ your accountant to or payroll processing companies to process your payroll and keep it up to date and pay your monthly PAYE, NIC and the pension liabilities on time so that you don't incur penalties and other non-compliance penalties, for example, by HMRC. Not only HMRC, you can get penalized by pension authorities, and if you are a limited company, then you have to worry about the company's house as well, making sure that your company's house requirements such as confirmation statements, the fees have gone up recently, and making sure that your directors and shareholders' records are all maintained properly as well. And it's very challenging when you think about all these things. Make sure that you have a good advisor or an accountant working with you so that you are ahead of things and make sure that you comply with these things. And the other important thing for startup business is the marketing. Marketing is a very, very important aspect of your a small business, because you start a business to grow and succeed and make more profit and make your time valuable in your business journey. So therefore, marketing is very important. Nowadays, marketing is also made easy by digital marketing, which is social media and other ways of marketing. So if you do the marketing properly, you can actually grow your business, make more profits for the same time and for same efforts that you're making. Your reward is much more. So again, there are marketing agencies available. You can actually educate yourself in so many marketing techniques. There are YouTube free information available on YouTube and other similar digital media where you can actually learn a lot as to how to apply the marketing methods so that your business is prominent and everyone knows who you are and what you are doing, so that you can grow your business. Brand development, collaborating with other businesses. That's what we are doing here in London Tamil Market, and our other networking events that we hold is mainly for collaboration and finding other ways of doing business and learning from other businesses as well. So that's one of our main purpose of London Tamil Market and British Tamil Chamber of Commerce. We have been doing this for a long time. We like to continue doing this so that our business participants actually benefit from all these information that you have, which you can gather from other businesses and see how other people are using technology to actually make managing the business easy. Not only that, growing your business easy as well, because marketing and networking, it will definitely help you grow your business. So therefore, for startup businesses, two topics which I talked about. One is accounting, you cannot ignore, and one main thing that a lot of people miss out is doing regular management accounts so that you know exactly how much profit you are making on a regular basis. And then if you are not making profit also, you should know why you are not making profit, where you are making the losses, whether your employment cost is too much, your overhead is too much, or your turnover is too less. Things like that, you should monitor it on a regular basis. If you don't monitor, if you leave it for 1 year and then find out that you have failed in these areas, and it's too late to take action. You must take action as soon as you know where you're going wrong. That's why the management account is very important. And plus, the other one is cash is king. Not the actual physical cash I'm talking about. Money coming into the business, you must make sure, maintain a proper cash flow system. Nowadays, the softwares provide, in addition to recording accounts, they can also actually prepare your cash flow forecast as you go along, so that you know how much money is in the bank, how much money is due from customers, and how much money you are paying suppliers, and all these kind of things you can monitor so that you know exactly where you stand with your cash flow is very, very important. Sometimes you can be profitable and not receiving enough cash from your suppliers, and you may be paying your suppliers too much, and then your cash flow situation can be very difficult. There are companies that have gone bankrupt because they did not manage their cash properly. So that's another point to bear in mind. Thank you for listening. 2 topics, accounting and marketing. Hope is useful. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any questions, please? Any other questions, please? So, ஒரு நண்பர் அவரால் கேட்டிருக்கின்றார், தனக்கு காது கேட்காதபடியால் தன்னை போல் லண்டனில் வசிக்கும் யாராவது உறவுகள் இருந்தால் தன்னுடன் தொடர்பு கொள்ள சொல்லி, அது தமிழர் நலன்புரி சங்கம் லண்டன் என்கின்ற அந்த முகவரி, அல்லது அவர் இங்கே இருக்கின்றால் அவருடன் தொடர்பு கொள்ளலாம். அவர் யாராவது தொடர்பு கொள்ள விரும்பினால் அல்லது நீங்களும் தொடர்பு கொள்ள வேண்டுமானால் உங்களை தொடர்பு கொள்ள கேட்கின்றேன். அவர் இங்கே நிற்கின்றார். ஸோ நன்றி. கேள்விகள் ஏதாவது இருக்கின்றதா? நாங்கள் நிச்சயமாக அடுத்த முறை சைன் லாங்குவேஜை உள்வாங்க வேண்டும் என்று கேட்டுக்கொள்கின்றோம். அப்படின்னு சொன்னால் அவருக்கும் இன்னும் இலகுவாக இருக்கும் இதை புரிந்து கொள்வதற்கு. ஓகே, கேள்வி. தேங்க்ஸ். நன்றி. மூன்றாவதாக இன்றைய இந்த நிகழ்விலே உங்களுக்கு ஆலோசனை வழங்குவதற்காக வருகின்றார் லொரன்சோ அவர்கள். Can I call upon Lorenzo to give you a short speech and then take questions?
Vanakkam, hello everybody. Thank you for the invitation from the Gate Institute and British Tamil Chamber of Commerce. My name is Lorenzo Fiorito, and I'm director of Solandium Investment Consulting Group. I was asked to speak on contracts, and I did prepare some slides with PowerPoint, but because of the lack of a screen, I'll just be speaking from the top of my head. I'm very happy to take your questions at any time. So, why are contracts important? Basically, any agreement between two people where there's offer and acceptance and an exchange of something of value, we call this a contract. This is different from an ordinary promise because we are exchanging something of value. And when you do this, then there's a system of law that applies so that if you break your promise, the other person can hold you accountable. This is why the contract is important. A contract can be either oral or it can be written. So if I go into the back and I say, I would like some tea, they say, give me £2 and we'll give you the tea. That is an oral agreement. But if they don't give me tea after I've given the £2, then I have, under the law, measures of recourse. Now, of course, for £2, I'm not going to make a fuss. But if we have an agreement that's worth £50,000, then we have to have a system that protects all parties. This is what the contract is. So when we have more formal commercial contracts, we have the body of the agreement. This says the names of the parties. So I'm the buyer, the person selling the tea is the seller. We need those people to be identified in the contract. We need to say what is the substance of the agreement. The substance of the agreement is that I want to buy some tea, I'm willing to pay for it, right? And then we need to say what is going to happen if somebody breaks their promise. If I don't give the money or if the seller does not give the tea, what is going to happen? This can go in one of 2 directions. One is the national court. So within the national court system, I say the contract was breached. I would like either my money back or I would like to get the tea that I paid for, right? And the court will usually say you can get your money back, but we cannot force the seller to give you the tea. Unfortunately, that's not in our power. But we can tell the seller, give Lorenzo his money back. All right. The other route is to go to alternative dispute resolution. It's not that big of a deal to me. I want to keep it out of court. I want to keep both of our names private. I don't want this in the public court record that I've taken the tea seller to court over tea sales. So we have a private agreement. We go to, let's say, mediation or arbitration. In mediation, the mediator brings the two sides together and tells them that basically he is there to listen. He or she is there to listen and to find the common ground between the parties. But the mediator cannot suggest solutions. The solutions come from the parties themselves. In arbitration, the arbitrator is basically a private judge. When he hears or she hears the two arguments from either side, the arbitrator makes a decision. One is right, the other one is wrong. And this is also a way of settling out of court, but it has basically the same effect as a court decision. The contract is upheld, and one party is found to be in the right, the other party is found to be in the wrong. So this is the basic system of contracts in business relationships and the two forms of dispute resolution. One last thing that I'd like to add is how contracts change just a little bit when the two parties are in different countries. If I'm in the UK and my business partner is in Sri Lanka, there's going to be two different systems of law that apply. I'm in the UK, UK law applies to me. My business partner is in Sri Lanka law applies to them. How do we find an agreement? One way is to write into the contract what is going to be the governing law. When you write that down, when you take that contract to the court or to the arbitrator, the decision is clear as to which system of law applies. Another way of doing it is to have a neutral forum for your arbitration. This doesn't happen in national courts, but it does happen in arbitrations, where you can choose a country that is not the UK, not Sri Lanka, but another country that system of rules applies to the contract. It's possible to do it that way so that there's no bias between the two parties. So these are just some basic principles about contracts that I'm very happy to expand on with your questions. I look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, Lorenzo. Anyone have any questions, please? So in that absence, I'll ask some questions. So in terms of resolutions, I don't think many people know about what arbitration is. So can you give a classic case study? There was some issue that it didn't go to courts and it was arbitrated and solved, and just give a kind of a flavor of what kind of conflicts that they could actually solve through arbitration. I mean, even I would like to know, like, if there's a case study.
So arbitration, as I mentioned, is an alternative to the court system. This can be done for basically any kind of civil claim. So the one area of law that cannot be done through arbitration is criminal law. If you commit a crime, you cannot have out-of-court settlement you cannot have out-of-court settlement for the penalty for that crime. Basically, anything that is not criminal could be subject to arbitration if the parties agree. This is the most fundamental part of an arbitration, is that the two parties have to have an agreement that they're going to go to arbitration and that they're going to be bound by what the arbitrator decides. So at the small scale level, family disputes can be settled out of court through arbitration. At the large scale level, and this is actually what got me into arbitration, disputes between investor companies and states can be settled through arbitration. The specific case that I was interested in that got me into this field of law was an arbitration in 2009 between Deutsche Bank and the state of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka owed Deutsche Bank 60 million American dollars because they had bet that the price of oil was going to go up, and instead the price of oil went down. So in that agreement that they had with Deutsche Bank, Sri Lanka has said when the price of oil goes up, we will accept money from Deutsche Bank. When the price of oil goes down below a certain level, we will pay money to Deutsche Bank. Oil prices collapsed. Sri Lanka was $60 million in debt to Deutsche Bank, and this debt had to be paid. So that is a classic case that really sort of shook the world of international arbitration, and it's something that affected many people's lives.
Thank you. There's another question, Hussein.
Yeah, I have two questions, Lorenzo. One of them is the what country you would suggest when it comes to a contract between somebody who lives in the UK and in Sri Lanka, and also can a country be held accountable under any international law for any matters of dispute resolution? Do you have any example?
So that was two questions, and I'll answer them in order. So when you're a business established in the UK and you are doing business with someone in Sri Lanka, it is generally speaking, it's better to resolve your dispute within Sri Lanka if you trust your party and if you trust the courts. These are the two main factors that would decide where you are going to resolve your disputes. Now, the reason that I suggest this is because a Sri Lankan party may not be able to afford the costs of a court process in the UK. However, if you go to arbitration, as I mentioned, you can name any country as the country under which legal system you will be doing your arbitration. The arbitration can be done virtually. It can be done with one person sitting at their computer in the UK, another person sitting at their computer in Sri Lanka, and the rules of arbitration of France can apply if the parties agree. So for large-scale arbitrations, large-scale commercial disputes, this is the solution that is often used, is a neutral third country. You don't have to physically be in that country. It's just the rules of that country apply. Now, in the example of holding a state accountable under arbitration, again, I have a classic case from 1990 that took place called the Asian Agricultural Products versus Sri Lanka arbitration. Asian Agricultural Products was a prawn farm where the operations were taking place in Batticaloa, but the investor was from Hong Kong. In 1987, there was a military operation that destroyed the prawn farm, and there were people who were killed. The prawn farm was destroyed. The investor said, Sri Lanka, under the bilateral investment treaty between what was then the UK, Hong Kong at that time was under the UK, and Sri Lanka, under that bilateral investment treaty, you owe us the damages of the lost revenue that resulted from that military operation. The arbitral tribunal did not only look at the text of the bilateral investment treaty and the text of the contract, it also went into international humanitarian law, and it found that the laws of war were violated during that operation. And this is something that it's possible to do in arbitration, is in extreme cases to bring parts of international law that are not inside the contract into the arbitration. So this is the one and only time that Sri Lanka was found accountable for war crimes. One time in history, this was through international arbitration.
What was the outcome?
Sri Lanka lost the arbitration and was told to pay compensation to the investor. For about 2 years, they tried not to pay, and the British High Council stepped in and asked Sri Lanka formally to make the payment. After that, the payment was made.
It's quite interesting case studies that you hear from him. So Lawrence is one of the startups here, so you can meet him at his desk later today. So we have these 3 speeches and today, and there will be more tomorrow. And tomorrow we have the entrepreneurs pitching their business. So the business pitch is at 12 to 1. So please do join us again. But there will be other events happening throughout the day. Thank you very much for joining.